I saw there were some questions in chat.
Hit it.
So, because Viking Nephilim called us out for not answering the question. The question was, can I get an event where I show up in Prato, Rome 2 or CK3? And the answer is no. No, you can't.
Dang. I like how you specifically went back and called out the question just to tell him no. The shade is real today, man. Howdy everyone, welcome back to our weekly Imperator stream. With me, as always, is my faithful companion compatriot, Joachim. Say hello to the folks. As always, I am your community manager, Troy, here for shenaniganery and deluxe content, I suppose. I don't know the difference between one or the other at this point, but we're here. Yeah, hi everyone. 2.0's out. If you have not already seen it, now is the time. Definitely go and get that update and make sure you check it out. And we are back playing 2.0 for you, so you can see all the fine features and updates that we've released. If you have not been keeping track of things, this is the update. It is the update of all updates. Everything has been reworked and everything is looking fantastic. For those of you that checked us out last week, we were in some very deep discussions. We had fallen down the rabbit hole near the end of last stream, so we kind of slacked on what we were doing. There was a couple wars that we kind of let slide past us while we were having a very good discussion. I loved it. You guys in the community definitely asked some really good questions. We got some really in-depth, detailed answers, some conversations going that were quite interesting and quite entertaining, but it did mean we kind of fell behind on the game, which happens. That's why we're here, is to discuss things. So, as such, we are back in the boss ruins. Surprise. Still going through our playthrough with our lovely purple color, and I will let Joachim take it away.
Imagine how awkward it is to call it 2.0 when it's actually 2.0.1.
Is it already 2.0.1? Man. How are we feeling about the release of 2.0 in terms of players returning to the game? You know what? I was happy with where it was before 2.0. I love all of you guys. You know, we have a very dedicated fan base, but I'm glad that people are enjoying 2.0, and I'm glad that they have, you know, either bought the game, reinstalled the game, continued playing the game, or have simply continued playing the game. All players in the game are good. I love you all. You are all of my family. I will come to your house and cook you all spaghetti one day. No, but for real,
It'll be sort of creepy because, you know,
right?
They'll be like, why are you here though? It's like, why are you just in my home?
Terrifying, cooking spaghetti. No, but for real, I do love all the players in the game. Without you guys, I literally would not have a job. But as far as players returning to the game, yeah, it's great. It's rad. Welcome back. I hope you enjoy. We've put a lot of love and effort into it, except for Joachim, who just slept in Norway the whole time. You know.
Norway's a nice place, what can I say?
Took walks in the woods, tried to hide from Nurgle stalking him from the bushes. You know, the usual.
Yeah, I mean, you get sort of used to it, though. But yeah, no, I think it's, like, from a developer point of view, it certainly felt like we kept putting out these patches that didn't really have, like, a super noticeable effect on the player numbers, right? It's sort of like, hey, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and it's like, you feel like you actually sort of do an alright job, and then you sort of sit there and it's like, the player numbers doesn't actually change because people's perception of the game doesn't really, you know, hasn't necessarily changed too much. And with the 2.0, we apparently managed to sort of change the player perception as well as actually, you know, improving the game quite significantly. And it seems like, you know, people sort of come back and they're like, oh, here's a culture change. And I'm like, yeah, that was, you know, that was 1.5. That is, you know, it's sort of an old change by now, but they haven't seen it before now, right?
And, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I think it's actually really nice to actually see people being excited about the game, I guess you can say.
Wait, did we get rid of that? We had a lot of mercenaries at one point. What happened to those?
We still have a lot of mercenaries. They're
where did they go? Where did we put them?
They're currently at our western front. They're sort of hiding in this group. I believe.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because we came across, and that gigantic army was there, and we slammed into them, and they split up, and there's still 8K just chilling there, but we don't know where the other. It was like 32K or some ridiculous number.
So basically, at the moment, it seems like Thrace is sort of beating Getya and Moesha. So we're pretty much just going to jump onto our chance to take something here, I think. So our goal is to close this hole. Basically, is the thing I want to do. So I want to make like a couple of forts and actually hold like this whole area over here.
Right. Well,
at the moment,
that's what we did with our last playthrough, and it worked out rather well until they just sidelined us up the coast, which was nuts.
Yes. But yeah, I think we're just going to sort of grab the area over here, and it seems like Thrace has taken the part by the coast. We can always fight Thrace over that later on. So, yeah. Let's see. Question. Out of curiosity, as Heart of Iron looks somewhat similar in the map, do they share the same map engine? So, I believe all Paradox games for quite a while have shared the same engine, but this is very much a later iteration of the same engine.
Mm-hmm.
You can sort of imagine that there's like this long line of engines, right? And then games will sort of split off from it, and then they will continue doing work on that version of the engine. And that's sort of, so you have a lot of these different versions of the engine, and both Imperator and CK3 is using a later version of that same engine, but with some additional doodads on top of it that we call the Jomny system. Don't ask me about the Jomny system because I actually don't know that much about it.
So Joachim, tell us about the Jomny system.
Yes. But also no.
Yes, but no.
Are they busy taking this area? Because I sort of wanted to take this area. Can I take this area? No, I can't take this area.
And that's one of those things that I really enjoy about like coding and programming. Like, I'm not by any means you guys are the professionals, but I like to poke around and at least have a basic grasp and understanding. But like, especially with our games, it's like you can definitely see the bones of where it started peeking through a lot, but like anything that was a sore point or was more difficult to use has definitely been smoothed out, and I appreciate that.
This is very awkward because suddenly the whole area that I wanted is no longer Getya. Now it's Thrace instead.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that sort of happened.
Well,
this awkward moment where I'm like, hey, do you just want to piece this out? And they're like, no. And it's like,
Jesus. So now we have to march through Thrace to get around to Getya? God.
Yeah, the thing is, now they're sort of in the area we don't actually want, right? So I'm actually not sure how we're going to fix this.
Time to kill Thrace.
Yeah, it is sort of time to kill Thrace, but they have a lot of victories.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of them. That's a bad idea. Jesus, they're so big too.
Yeah, they are quite humongous. So I think we're just going to.
Oh man, oh man, Nurgle's calling you out in chat again. What is going on with you guys right now?
I mean, he's not wrong though.
Wow. I just.
Honestly, it actually sort of bothers me how always Thrace ends up big, because historically speaking, Lysimachus sort of slashed most of his family and then, to death, and then that was sort of the end of it. Yep. So there really should be an event in there to just mess up his kingdom as soon as he dies, but alas, that's not the case. Maybe I can make one though.
Man, what is What did you do to Nurgle today?
I like how you say today, like it's something new.
Well, he's on fire today, man. Like usually it's like kind of like a passive slow boil. Today it's just like there's a bonfire burning. Whew.
Oh, nice. They actually want to fight.
Yes.
That's fine.
Step right into my parlor, gentlemen. Goodbye.
There we
God,
go.
that didn't take long at all.
No, it really didn't. So, Prince of Olbia. So, he's being sort of a douche. I think we're just going to put him in jail then. I saw there were some questions in chat.
Hit it.
So, because Viking Nephilim called us out for not answering the question. The question was, can I get an event where I show up in Imperator Rome 2 or CK3? And the answer is no. No, you can't.
Dang. I like how you specifically went back and called out the question just to tell him no. The shade is real today, man.
Oh, Thrace just took the rest of Macedon.
Yeah. Well, it was a good run, everybody. I'm just gonna head out,
That's the way to do it. So we could call Armenia into conflict with them. I'm curious how much Armenia would actually help us out.
Oh, I don't know.
Because if they did, I imagine we would be able to beat Thrace. But I would sort of want Thrace to not be not be in any other wars. It would be nice if they just sort of, started a war with someone, see, not me, and I could sort of jump in and make it a two-front war instead.
Yeah. What was the thing that surprised you most when actually getting the job, positive or negative? For mine, it was a little bit of both in the same answer. Professionalism and knowledgeable experience, knowing what you're doing in the job, and being professional will carry you a very long way. I've worked with people that were not very professional but had a lot of knowledge, and it was a very difficult time to work with them. However, on the flip side, I've worked with people that were very, very, very knowledgeable and had no decorum, and it was like you are full of knowledge, but I don't want to talk to you. Or you have people that are just coming into the industry, very professional, very by the book. Here are my spreadsheets, here are my documentations and my timelines, and it's like, okay, cool. What do you think would be best for this strategy? No opinions. None at all. They'd spent so much time working on getting everything in order and making sure they looked good on paper that they had no opinion. They had no knowledge. They had nothing to bring to the table other than, look how good my spreadsheets look. So that's the CM answer. I'll leave Joachim to give his own answer.
What was the question again?
Before becoming a dev, what was the thing that surprised you most when you actually got the job?
So I studied game design before I got the job, right? So it was always sort of planned, in my plans to become a game developer. It wasn't like a random thing that it is for some people. And as someone who sort of wanted to be a dev, you often end up sort of, I'm not going to use the word worship, but you sort of like you idolize game devs a little bit, right? Because it's like, hey, these are the people who sort of do the things that you want to do. And then you sort of started a massive game company. I mean, Paradox is not massive by some standards, but it is a, sizable game company. And then it's like, oh, all of these people, every single one of them are game developers. So it's like the first time you're like, okay, what is actually like, being a professional game developer like? Well, what's the sort of everything that the job entails, meetings, getting used to everything. So that was sort of the weird part of it, right? You sort of get in there and you're like, hey, everyone is game devs and everyone is pretty much like just like office workers, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they gave me a forum account, and I've not really paid attention to everything else since.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
no, I'm basically just on Google Pictures finding GIFs and putting them on the forums. That's pretty much what I do now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like, community is this it's truly unique to me. Every company I've been working at that has like community or community team, we're always the ragtags. It's super professional. We know what we're doing, but everyone has such a weird, broad pool of knowledge, and there's obviously always overlaps, but there's also just so much that every community member brings to the table that has seemingly so little to do with like community or social posting or social media, that it's like, how does this have to affect the job? And then you like watch their process, and it's like, oh, all of that was relevant, but it's so weird to see the background of each different community and how they handle each of their communities, because it is always like a direct reflection on the experiences that they've had and the communities they've interacted with. And it's so weird to me to see how broad and diverse each of the communities is. Like, we've got community developers and community managers that are like, yes, I read 7 books a week and I haven't played a video game in months and I don't even have social media presence. And then they get into a community and they're just so on top of things that you're like, if you don't go on social media, how do you even understand what's going on? Yet you're just killing it. And then you have somebody that's like the memeiest meme lord of all of memedom, who spends their free times on terrifying forums, answering questions and getting interactions with people that you would never imagine. And then they come to work and they're very professional, but they're always on top of things with like a weird relevant joke to make the mood steered into the right direction. So it's really weird to see community come together as a team, because we're all so broadly diverse. I got down a rabbit hole again, didn't I? Whew.
Apparently so.
Do you feel idolized by the community? No.
I mean, there's a certain thing to be said that people are going to treat you differently as a dev, right? For better or for worse. I think I prefer when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because I feel like being treated differently is not necessarily a positive, right?
Right.
There's also a certain amount of like, if the game is doing well, people are like, oh, there's a dev, you make this really cool game, and oh, you did a good job, blah blah blah, and it's like, that's nice and everything. But then there's also the flip side, which is basically, if the game is not doing well, they're like, oh, you're a game, you're a dev, and the game sucks, and why are you doing a shitty job, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, there's a certain backlash, right? I think I prefer when people just sort of treat us as humans, which is, just more normal, I guess.
Right, which is also why we have these streams, is to help humanize the dev team, humanize the community team. We are people. We have hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations and things we like and dislike. And, reading on a web page like, hello, I am Joachim, and I like shitposting on the forums, does not give you any depth on how much he really loves to shitpost and harass Nurgle. But that's the point, is we want you guys to feel like you know us, you know how we operate. You can come to expect a certain experience from us. And I hope that's been positive, especially from Joachim and I, but I definitely want you guys to feel that way moving forward. What was the purpose of tactics in Imperator? There you go, buddy.
So,
that one's you.
I don't remember what the tactics system was originally like. I remember that it was horrendous and all of the QA hated it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it kept being brought up to Johan that it needed to be changed, but it wasn't very highly prioritized. And I believe it was Grugi who ended up changing it on a whim.
Mm.
And he was like, hey, Johan, here's a new tactical system. And Johan was like, okay, I guess that's better than what we have.
Fair.
That's what we have now. It's not a good system.
Nah.
It really should be ripped out wholesale, and I'm going to leave it at that.
That's a good place to leave it. Any dev clashes planned? None right now. We want to give them some time to breathe. 2.0 was a heck of an undertaking, guys, and I just want to make sure they have time to breathe before we even bring up thoughts or ideas of dev clashes. So that's a ways down the line. Also, pineapple on pizza, only if it has salty other toppings. So like bacon, pepperoni, ham. If you have like a veggie pizza, don't need it. Don't do it. But if it's like a salty topping to counteract the sweet of the pineapple, definitely. Here's one for you, Joachim. Definitely. What changes as part of 2.0 are you most proud of? Not that you like the most, you're most proud of. Because we've already discussed what you like the most, so.
That I'm personally dead?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard thing to answer. I'm happy how some of the Slugged missions turned out. I guess that's the answer I have.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, yes. I did take a lot of points in charisma. My oratory skill is quite high for speaking on stream. It's true. Would anybody believe me if I told you that I have a very thick Texas accent and I grew up with a lisp? Yeah. True facts, both of them. But have fixed that. Not fixed, but adjusted, I guess. Dead Pops counter doesn't seem to include dead levies. Is that correct?
That might very well be correct, yes. I'm not sure if we have some way of tracking that, but it's probably something we could look into.
Yep. And then... Did you see that Did you see that big long one from Inspector?
Can I ask why Scythian culture is only at Crimea, while the most famous Scythian tribes, led by Queen Tamiris, were located at the northeastern borders of the Achaemenid Empire? But in this game, this is a wasteland. Can I ask why?
You can definitely ask, yeah.
I'm not the one who put in anything with Scythia in it, so I can't actually answer the question. But like I said earlier, we're always open to changing things if something is wrong. So,
let me see.
I have to admit, like, Scythia is not really something I know a lot about.
No. Players on stream or developers of said game marketing team, just people from the company who want to stream. Well, it's in charge of each project is a community manager or a community developer. They set the tone and the plan for the streams. It is down to their determination who they will be streaming with. For my personal role, I like to have people that know what they're doing in the game and had a hand in either making the game or developing the game into what it is today. As such, I asked everyone and nobody wanted to volunteer, so they shoved Joachim to the front of the line and made him do it.
True story.
It's true. It's very true.
I was, you know how when a kid is sick and they're like, hey, we have to choose like someone for class that can, Yeah, no.
They volunteered you. They volunteered you as tribute.
No, they needed someone. I was like, yeah, I can probably, show up and do my thing, and maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. But you won't know if you haven't tried it. So I figure I'd give it a try.
And here we are. What was the biggest challenges that you had to overcome in the game?
Biggest challenges. Now that's a difficult one. I think like a constant problem has sort of been performance, because performance is incredibly easy to break. I mean, if you sort of think about it, right? Every single province in the game has a certain amount of pops, and we have, I believe, around 8,000 something provinces right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is including sea and ocean provinces, though. So let's say 7,000-ish land provinces. That all has a certain amount of pops, and all of the pops do stuff, right? So you have an incredible amount of pops in the game, and you don't have to do a lot to sort of really ruin the performance when it comes to that.
True.
So whenever we add new features to the game, we have to be really, really careful so we don't actually ruin the performance, right? Because as soon as you do a small little thing that affects a lot of things at the same time, it will really affect like a lot of things at the same time. Like you said, 6,000-7,000 something provinces. I believe Fregator in games says 40,000 pops at start, which
Yeah.
I don't know if the number is correct, but that doesn't sound completely
wrong. Yeah.
off. And a fair number of characters. Like every single country has a lot of characters, right? So it's easy to sort of mess things up.
Right.
So performance has always been a thing, and even if you look at like Imperator 1.0 compared to 2.0, there's a certain level of higher performance in 1.0. It has less features as well, right? So it makes sense, but it's certainly a thing that we always have to sort of work around and do stuff with, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Years and years of speech therapy. Actually, my speech therapy was all self-taught because it, to be frank, pissed me off that I couldn't speak right. What was the other? There was another question I just saw, and I it seems like you guys aren't excited for the game. Boy, let me tell you, we're so hyped for 2.0. But really, we're so excited to be able to show this off to you guys. I know it was literally actually killing Joachim to not be on 2.0 when it was in development and he was working on it and couldn't play it on stream. It was literally physically aging him. He could feel himself dying every day that we streamed, and it wasn't 2.0.
It's like, you know how the president of the United States sort of aged very quickly in the role? That was my life, having to stream 1.5.
Yep, I know.
Literal
buddy.
gray hairs.
We made it, though. We're here now. We can
So-
show off your hard work.
Yes.
Was that where that was going? Yes.
I had like a thought, but I don't have to share all of them. Then
That's
So,
true.
yeah, no.
That is absolutely true. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad of the work that you've done. I'm proud of you. And I'm ready to see how much everybody else likes it. But I've got really bad news. It's about
why are
that
people
time.
criticizing me for playing the Bosporan Kingdoms? The Bosporans are great, people. Stop hating them. Look at this color. Look at it. It's the most beautiful purple ever.
It's not that they're upset that you're playing the Bosporans, Joachim. It's that they know you're a Bosporan simp. It's just straight up. Everyone knows it. You are the #1 stan of the Bosporan Kingdom, man. We all know this. Yes, thank you,
Bosphorans are great.
Nefarious.
Make Bosporus great again.
Wow. On that note, we are just about out of time. It is already that time, man.
Oh yeah, we do have actually.
we are right there.
We didn't get to do that much, but we expanded a little bit everywhere, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, next week we're going to actually really slam into figuring out how to break this Thracian stranglehold they've got going on. I think that's going to have to be either our second or third point of order, first being figuring out how we can get enough troops to not die. In the meantime, Joachim, man, thank you so much. Again, every week is a pleasure and a joy, and it makes my heart glad to know that my buddy Joachim is here to have fun with me every week. It makes my Wednesdays the best day of the week, honestly and sincerely. So thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you to the community for tuning in, for streaming, for watching, for playing, for being on the forums, for giving us your questions and your feedback. Without you, I literally would not have a job. I would be living in Texas, reading books, and playing with my dogs, and, well, while that all sounds great, I would rather be here with you making this wonderful game and making this community what it is today. If you have any questions, definitely head over to our social media or to our forums, and we will make sure we get you answered. We will gather all that data. Our lovely ambassador is constantly reading. She literally messaged me while we were doing this, letting me know she was still working because she's literally the greatest of all times. Joachim, I hope you have a good week, buddy.